and welcome to the AEW Dynamite Preview. We are the Dudley Boys of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to look ahead to tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also AEW Collision, Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to look ahead to Dynamite tonight and the go-home show ahead of All in Texas.
Indeed. I think we are very much at the stage of don't mess this up, if it even can be messed up. If this is a mediocre, passable show with not an amazing atmosphere and the promo volleys or the matches aren't quite what they were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, I, at this point, would contend it does not matter. They have really built this card in a huge way with some bold matchmaking. It is the biggest match card of huge, unpredictable, biggest matches you could do imaginable. This feels in some ways like the biggest AEW show ever in terms of you doing that match and this one. Like maybe the AEW of old, because, you know, Tony Khan has been historically quite stingy with his matchmaking. We talked about that at length throughout 2021 when it's like, come on, like you've got Cody, Punk, Cole, Danielson, and at that time, they hadn't even interacted or wrestled or anything. Like, what we're doing here. That's another problem that people have leveled at AEW, and belatedly, Tony Khan has arrived at it with a resolution. We are at a point now where it's an abundance, an overabundance of, this is massive. This for this company at this scale at this time, massive. Like, if you're Tony Khan a couple of years ago, you might be thinking to yourself, I'm not going to do Tony and Mercedes and Kenny and Okada on the same show. Now, he's going, ironically, considering it's called All In, he's going all out with this, to the point where what's left for All Out? I don't know. Fascinating, but he's gone for it, and I would say the builds have been quite brilliant across the board. We were discussing this last week. Even the Casino Gauntlet has got so much more storyline heft and intriguing interactions across the confirmed and rumored names that you didn't really have to do that, but it's just an expression of, well, we're going for it and we're locked in. Even if this is it was all right, I won't be able to care less because it shouldn't all hinge on a go-home show to backload all of the excitement and to encourage you to do some last-minute sells. Like, this is the opposite. This all-in build and my feeling ahead of All in Texas and this Dynamite show is the absolute opposite of the fabled November Rain video where, oh God, you've bollocksed it up after All in London 2. The Death Riders kind of suck already. Yeah, you suck already. And I'm thinking, right, okay, if we can just get enough, if we can get the least embarrassing clips and marry them up with these really sort of anthemic cues from November Rain, we will be able to polish this turd. And it was a good exercise in turd polishing, but they did it the week before on the Dynamite when the build was not great and the I hate the word now, but the feeling surrounding AEW was not great. November Rain, go-home show, let's just pretend it was better. And we're going to use this hysterical anthemic rock tune to try and make it feel epic and important. This is the opposite of November Rain. I wouldn't mind some kind of video like that, but it would feel so much different if they went to it.
I had a flashback there to your pre-All-In 2023 rants because of the way they booked that show.
To this day, there are people, and you might know who you are, you might have pretended that you stopped watching or listening. And if you're still there, I hope you do. You don't deserve it. There are
it
still...
really bridged the gap between the two. It didn't bridge the gap between the two countries. It made it bigger, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was this America versus UK thing, both countries. And all of a sudden there was like a sort of civil war. I'm glad, because we were all proven right.
Yeah.
They were just like, those Mr. Bean looking asses just want a big show. No, we knew we had the big show.
Yeah. Here's a question, assholes. Did AEW, which we said at the time, this does not reflect well on the promotion, its priorities, how hot it is, like how operational it is. This is like you are taking the piss and you are fumbling. Toni fumbled a major opportunity, and this does not bode well for AEW's critical or commercial fortunes. When did it get good again? Did it get good in September 2023 or October 2023 or November 2023? Because if everything was absolutely great with the first All In London, the first Wembley Stadium show that I was told that it doesn't matter that big match specialist Kenny Omega isn't in a singles match. Oh yeah, who cares about that? Did it get good in November 2023 and December 2023? Were all things going well to the point where, well, this great momentum that we've got is just... No, it didn't, asshole. It took way more time. It took a lot of belated acknowledgement from people such as ourselves. I'm not taking credit for it, but maybe a little bit.
Maybe some respect for you.
So, God, where is my respect? Or are we finally starting to cook in the spring and summer of 2025 when all those festering problems were eventually acknowledged and bit by bit resolved? Because if that All In London 2023 card was so great and we were just miserable for complaining about it, well, more good times are coming. World's End 2023, was that a good time? And then there's one person in particular who was trying to have my life over this. I was like, no, you're a mark and you're wrong. And I'll forget.
I think it's also far preferable now that they have spaced out the all in, all out side of things. There was a week.
It was the road to All Out.
Yeah. It was a week like the first year, then a couple of weeks, and now it's obviously, I think, in September.
Yeah.
Forbidden Dough is the next thing you've got to concern yourself with, and they tend to buy that as a little bit of a free hit. There'll be some matches that...
It's quasi-canon, isn't it? Yeah.
So it's like, couldn't be better, really, how they've laid that out. In every aspect, it couldn't be better, this All In. Sidge mentioned there about how, this could be the biggest AEW show ever, looking up and down the matches. Even if it's not, it feels like it, and that's the point.
Yeah.
That's a victory for promotion, which is what AEW, I would say, was like, that was a flaw. I felt like I didn't necessarily want to highlight it, but it was too easy to highlight all the time. A total lack of interest in these cards that on paper, if you'd have sort of flashed back 5 years and said, in 5 years, you're going to get a second mainstream and it's going to have this on it. You'd be like, wow, I can't wait to get there. And you were in the moment of it happening thinking, I don't really care. Like, I have, not to sort of step on the dick of our All In preview, which me and Sidge record. You're in a stag, but it's in Northeast, so you probably pop in on Friday.
Busy, real busy.
Right. Okay. Well, me and Sidge crack that one. I've been excited for this all week. I go 7 days and don't even get excited about a Dynamite. I cannot wait for All In. I'm not taking the piss there. Like, there's a bunch of these Dynamites that it's just like, well, yeah, here we go. It's still a bit more like, it's the world. We talk about the world. We try to hide it, but sometimes it comes across what companies me and Sidge prefer. And as a result, the worlds we prefer entering are on different days. All In's where I want to be.
I'm going to have your life tomorrow, by the way.
On this 4-show,
maybe I will come in. Hang on.
On this 4-show weekend, All In is the one I'm most excited about, comfortably.
I mean, that's not a big...
maybe not.
It's not a ringing endorsement.
Maybe not. But WWE's entire...
Great afternoon bash.
I guess what I'm getting...
4 people.
I guess what I'm getting at is that I normally find WWE's counter-programming strategy extremely funny. And it doesn't necessarily work on me in terms of what show I'm most excited about. It's just whatever's the best looking show is what I'm most excited about. But I do find it very funny. It's just a sad backfire as a wrestling fan here that a show I would have been hyped for in Evolution has died on its arse.
That's the worst one. If it was Avana, fully loaded, I couldn't care less, but it should be...
I'm getting a bit of it out of Goldberg's retirement.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the one that's Drew, really, isn't it, out of all the rest. But yeah, All In's, you're right, the comparison, it's a low bar, but All In smoked them, and it's smoked, in terms of promotion, it's smoked every AEW show that I can remember for the last, I don't know when that sentence, when was I all week long excited for an AEW pay-per-view like I've been for this one? I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember.
Probably All In last year, but that was for a different reason because we were going.
Yeah, I'm talking about in terms of the principal figures on the card. The All In 2023 conversation is a very worthy one because...
I'll never forget.
We think about Kenny Omega and Hangman Page as the principal examples, and look at where they're factoring in here.
Yeah, and
they're
look
2
how,
years older. The characters are 2 years on,
and look how much more important this card looks as a result of them being prioritized on it. I had one more thing to say there. Yeah, in terms of proper, I cannot wait for this. I fully expect it to be great to such an extent that I'm almost worried about, oh, give this enough time, or don't give that too much time, where I'm like genuinely a little bit apprehensive about it all going well because I'm desperate for it to go well. In terms of the storyline builds, in terms of my general outlook of the promotion, I'm thinking Revolution 2022.
Yeah.
I don't think any story that is being told in AEW currently can touch CM Punk versus MJF, but it feels not only like this show is going to be great, but that only greatness can follow it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like all these matches look good. Shame about these 2,800 people in an NBA arena dynamites that are to follow. Like, it just feels like there are so many things going in AEW's favor right now. Are you busy?
Sorry, I was just looking up because I was thinking I have the fondest memories of All in 2023 because I was trying to work out how old Eric was.
Yeah.
And he was 11 days old.
11 days!
So I was like...
so wait a minute.
I seem to remember All in 2023 had good vibes in my house. So I just had it on the telly.
It was one of those where you just have like... Because they just sleep constantly at that age. So you just...
Oh, I just got the little picture in there, the little sign that I sent to the boys.
Surprises, but the eyes are open that early.
Or to frame it another way, Adam Wilbourn loved All in 2023 because he didn't have to go.
I wish I could have gone.
Remember when
I
you
was
weren't
very
gonna
relieved
go?
when they put up the "We're coming back next year" sign. Because I was like, oh, I really would like to have gone to a wrestling show at Wembley.
Michael Hamflett will watch the most beige MOR indie rock outfits you've ever heard in your life, or you no longer hear in your life because it's not 1999 anymore.
I'll go out, man.
He'll go to out. He will engineer free time for himself.
Yeah.
Quite often. He had a bit of a tickle in the old throat ahead of All in 2023, and you would think that might not even go.
That's pretty.
Is that you used to come into the?
Oh, yes, I remember this.
You used to come into the office.
Yeah, I remember.
When you had pneummonia
When
to stand up for NXT, and at the merest hint of a cold, you're like, I've probably been off a boys' trip to London. That's where
it wasn't the boys' trip to London. It was the Sunday when I was a little bit under the weather because the boys' trip to London had been too much fun on the Saturday. And I was like, oh, bloody hell.
Got a bit giddy.
Now this show, which, like...
Got a bit of telling off from our producer, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, justified one. And in hindsight...
That was a funny train journey, man. You had you hungover. You had you absolutely raging that the train was full of people.
Mate, was that?
Yeah, you were like just staring. I think you were feeling a bit anxious because it was full of, like, it was full though, and it was boiling hot.
Bags on chairs, probably.
And then he was hungover. Hamflett was hungover, so you were feeling like that. You were just staring out the window with your eyes shut, basically, and you were like, "That's not even going to be a good show. What's the point?" It's like, and I was like, "Nah, you're hungover. You are hungover."
Besides the bookends, where's the light?
Was this on the tube?
This was on the tube, yeah.
Tube,
on the tube
oh
to Wembley
God,
Stadium.
oh God.
The tube to Wembley.
Oh God, I appreciate...
Yeah, that was the face, actually. That the exact face.
God, I appreciate the tube for being on time almost always as a Metro user.
Yeah.
But my God.
And there being bloody loads of them.
Loads of them.
There's always one more coming.
I feel like I need a shower after every time I'm on one of those things.
How great were the tube staff when all of their tubes ended early after Wembley? And they had to spatula like 10,000 people onto one train, and then as different people were getting off at stops, because the whole network had broken down, there was like marshals at different stations being like, right, this is a big old station, you need to go that way, you need to go that way. Like, they couldn't have made it easier.
There were all those that I don't know if, like, if you're from the other country, the USA, you might not know that in the UK there's and I'm sure there's like variations of this like in every country, where there's like the Cockneys down London have a reputation as being these like really sort of like standoffish, rude, couldn't care less about.
That'd be a New Yorker as a bit of a like for like. Hey, I'm walking
Salt of the Ice.
Salt of the Ice. But they're walking
it's
here.
those snooty bluebuds in Connecticut. Sort of thing. So Cockneys and people who live in London or are from London have this reputation as like aloof, standoffish. And I went to university with some of them, so it's not completely untrue. It's like, you f***ing northern
All say.
off, you f***ing northern whatever. But these Cockneys or these people who lived in London could not have been more helpful in a stressful situation.
They were
So
excellent.
thank you to the London Underground staff.
With regards to this year's All In,
They thought they were hot crap down at the people from London at my university. If you like it so much, why do you come to Leeds?
this year's All In currently has 8 matches on the card.
Some of them were nice.
I
I love London, but I've met some of those people too.
Not all of them.
I assume we're going to get a 9th because this doesn't feature the Ops and Death Riders challenge.
Yeah,
that's laid
9's a
down.
bit much, innit?
9 matches.
9 much. Like 9.
Actually, nah.
No more to be added though.
Because, look, I
2
don't.
hour pre-show then.
I'm not
Fill that up.
of the mind of like a certain match has to go a minimum of 30 minutes to be considered a classic. Like more and more, I'm actually actively distancing myself from that idea and the fact that I don't like how wrestling is preoccupied with it still. 9 matches, I do want a card or Omega to hit that 30, to be fair, just because I want to live in it.
Bucks, Swerve, and Ospreay needs time. Obviously, Toni and Mercedes needs time. Yeah.
You need to trust the wrestlers.
Oh yeah, the world title.
Who can build layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of drama, who can actually use it with a purpose, with like no fat to it whatsoever. But at the same time, the last thing I want to feel is, when's this going to get good? When's this going to get good? I expect certain matches, and again, I'll specify which on the preview, might go 10, where on another show that would go 15, you know. We'll see.
Presumably to set up that Ops Death Riders trios title match tonight, we have Samoa Joe versus Wheeler Yuta.
Odd this, because Yuta, surely, if the BCC are going to, oh, not the BCC, God, the even worse version, how the hell does that work? The Death Riders are going to get in, then you have to do the Route 1 cliched booking of, oh, well, we've beat a champion and an eliminator, or we've just beaten someone who holds a belt, therefore we now get the chance to challenge for it. Yuta going over Joe, that might be good heat, you know. Obviously, he's not going to do it cleanly, but if, like, they didn't specify who was going to be the third man for the Death Riders, either Gabe Kidd,
Pack.
Of course, yeah.
well, that's the thing. So it was Claudio and Wheeler who issued the challenge for the trios belts on Collision, and they said, like, who would the third person be? I mean, I guess there's 2 options, health depending. Either Gabe Kidd slots right back in,
Slops in.
or Pac, unbeknownst to anyone, has returned from injury. Like, the third person kicks Samoa Joe's ass, Wheeler Yuta pins them, and then the idea of Wheeler Yuta pinning, of all people, Samoa Joe, with like the legacy that he has and the aura, I guess, that he has, and Yuta with his like little crappy bangs.
See his haircut. Well, lack of a bloody haircut.
He needs a bloody haircut if you're asking Wilbourn. Him doing the whole, I just beat Samoa Joe, how hard am I? That could be quite good heat, I think.
Yeah.
The match itself, the body of it, I expect Yuta to know his role here. I mean, it's weird that they've put so much investment in like a more grapple-free version of Brandon Cutler. Realistically, you know what I mean? That's what he is. That's the role he's playing. He's pretty damn good at it as well. Just when he was brought into the original BCC as like the spiritual heir to Bryan Danielson. It is what it is. It's just weird, but he knows his role. Don't take the piss with like him being on the advantage too often in this match, you know.
Could try a muscle buster because that'd be funny.
Yeah, if you like.
Well, like, if, I don't think necessarily going to end this way, but if, like, Dominic Mysterio ended his time in the Judgment Day as a hard-working, gutsy babyface has actually started to try with the work rate title, him and Wheeler Yuta have taken the complete opposite route in their stable.
Yeah.
Like, work rate guy who's one day
yeah.
going to inherit the earth becomes wacky, comedic, foil, little bastard heel,
Yeah.
Dominic Mysterio, Intercontinental Champion to be proud
It's
of.
the-
It's so strange that,
It's,
like,
it's the old Hook Dominic Mysterio discourse that, it's such a shame for him. I remember when I was like, your prodigy is Dominic Mysterio, Botch City, completely bland babyface, and we've got this ultra handsome, cool kid who just rules. Don't know what happened there.
yeah,
He's going excursion. I'm going to say that for the 58th time.
This could have an excursion button.
Yeah.
have they I didn't see this build about this third man. Have they tried in any way to suggest they'll keep it a secret till the night? Could Gabe Kidd just run in here to cost Joe?
That's what I'm saying. Gabe Kidd or Pac will cost Joe.
Yeah.
Because Yuta kind of has to win for this match to make sense.
Is there anybody, Texas adjacent, or somebody that Tony Khan would like to book for that show specifically that would fill that role? If not,
you wouldn't
the
get
obvious.
You wouldn't get like a game.
You wouldn't get a home state favorite to be
No,
the
I
third man
suppose
for
not.
the heels. I mean, I know wrestling's different now. It's not so
Yeah.
goodies versus baddies, but I still don't think.
You know,
that
like Tony Khan, like, hey, it's going to be quite nice sometimes. He wants to put somebody in that building.
any
you know,
dickhead
like
heels from Texas, JBL,
He does just walk around and clothesline people shooting his own angles now, doesn't he?
and then just never following. Them
Yeah.
up.
Is Clark Connor still a cowboy? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
Nah.
It's New Japan, isn't it?
Dead man.
That would be so funny.
Yeah, get the Undertaker,
I would love that.
but it would have to be
so
like
much.
Booger Red,
We're calling out, we're renaming the group. We're the Dead Riders.
the Dead
We're
Riders,
the Titan Bike Riders.
a dead man is making his all elite.
Me, Wheeler, and Midian are going to win the trios belts.
John Moxley doesn't like the way things run around here in AEW, and he ain't gonna let anything slide.
Speaking of which, here's some corporate synergy.
The Death Sliders. That's right. It's Will Uter, Marina Shafir, and Kane.
Again. Claudio Castagnoli. What is that, French? Get the out.
I saw that son of a bitch winning the Battle Royal, and I thought, well, I definitely must be concussed. Turns out it was both. Not a good night to be the dead man.
Nope.
Sticking with the Death Sliders.
Is he lifting the friggin' Big Show? What the hell? Even I wasn't booked to pick up that son of a bitch. JR said he needs to spend more time in OV Dub before I could pick up old Paul.
I couldn't do it if I tried.
Tony Khan said it's going to be a long old pay-per-view. More matches to be added. It's going to go a whole 9 hours. I said, nice try, Tony, but I don't sleep. But yes, there's an all-star 8-man tag featuring two
I'm the
members.
purest striker in WWE. Oh, sorry, dead man, it's AEW. I'm better than all of them. WEAW. I'm the hardest man alive, and I'm also dead. So I'm the hardest man in hell, the hardest man on earth.
He told me he was going to put a third chicks match on the main card, and I said, Tony, you've done it now. I made a big mistake. Unless Michelle McCool's getting hot, of course. Okay. In which case, I would put both belts on her.
So, Mox and Claudio are in this 8-man tag with the Young Bucks taking on other members of the Ops, of course, Katsuyori, Shibata, Powerhouse, Hobbs, Will Ospreay, and Hangman Adam Page.
There was a weird debate, there always is, on X about, oh, God, another all-star 8-man tag, is it? Yes.
That's what they're doing it. It's been years.
Yeah, they should, I mean, there's rules. What I like as well, I wasn't the first person to think of this. I think a few people noticed. Pretty cool that Swerve's not in here. Like, you'd expect, like, all right, well, let's preview a few matches at once. I like the idea. It's headcanon-y, but it also really works of, like, Tony going to Swerve and going, you want some of this? And Swerve going, no.
Burning money to put them out there on the same side of the apron.
Absolutely.
Him and Hangman,
but there's
definitely.
character reasons as well and story reasons. So, like, an 8-man party match that will, I mean, it's the Young Bucks in the ring, guaranteed to be 3-3. Like, just guaranteed to be 3-3 if you're not a boring tosser like Hamflett was last week. Who liked Roxanne Perez versus Kairi Sane more than the Young Bucks trios match last week.
I like this more.
Yeah, I would hope so, son.
I have a real...
Goddamn, son, I really hope so. I might lose it.
I have a... You know, you say about, like, when was it? Was it 5 ways? Anything above 4
yes.
in WWE, guaranteed good. Mm-hmm. I think I have a little bit of that as pertains to trios and, like, 8-man trio. Get that away from me.
Yeah, excitement, well worked. Oh, God, I need some botches in there for this to be good.
4-on-4. I'll give that a look.
Yeah.
Teams of 5 strive to survive. Count me in. War games, no. Right there.
Yeah, gone too far.
Teams of foe.
Stroh for Mo.
Yeah.
Decent Mo.
No, there should be class. I mean, it's one of those where it's hard to preview this. Like, what could I'd like to see a spot where, all right, the Young Bucks would just do something so much better than I could ever conceive in this match. It's not the one I like to touch in terms of the spots I would like to see. I will say, as much as I've had a little fun with my colleague here, as cool as the trios match was last week, there wasn't that one extra gear of I cannot believe this is still going after what I was certain was the finish. That Young Bucks, it's a high. It is a high that they are able to administer when they are at their absolute very, very best. And this could be one of those nights. I mean, Ospreay's in there. It's the Bucks, like the Moxley Hangman stuff. Hangman, Matt Jackson interactions. Any dyed-in-the-wool elite nerd is going to be, that's going to be catnip for them. What's wild about the Hangman Page, Matt Jackson story and how just well they've tended to it over the years, and it's always been, that's been like the real source of conflict and tension between those two specifically. Like, I'm not saying Nick Jackson and Hangman Page are like, you know, apathetic towards one another, but it's always Hangman and Matt Jackson with that particular bone.
It was him with the nod as well, wasn't it? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It had to be him going.
It has to be him in particular. But even though it's their character story, one of the most underrated in-ring dynamics throughout all of AEW is the chemistry shared between Hangman and Nick Jackson. They work together phenomenally well. I'm going to be just seated. I'm nearly 40 and I'm saying these young people words. I apologize. I am going to be seated and locked in when these demons are cooking.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's all good stuff.
That's so Sigma. I don't know.
Yeah.
My mate's kid said it the weekend. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Sorry.
now Sigma's good, I think. Skibbity's bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's the scales.
I think there's something with Skibbity where it's become this like unique. It's good and bad.
Ah.
It's all about the involvement of the toilet.
Right.
I think for where the origins of it were like bad, Skibbity toilet bad, and then it was just like Skibbity's kind of come all the way back around again, but like when we were young, when bad was good.
Skibbity's turned babyface.
Possibly. Don't know. It can't be asked to keep up.
This is one of those matches that there probably will be a trade-off.
Skibbity 8 man.
Yeah. One of those matches where I'll be halfway through, dazzled, exhilarated by the moves. The thought, ooh, I really need this wrestler to win, or I'd love it if this wrestler won. That's not going to enter my head. However, that might not be true after all, because I'm undecided about who I want to win. Moxley is being a winning machine, as he should be. Like this ruthless, unsentimental winning machine beat Mark Briscoe. I will get the winning pin in the main event of Arena Mexico before the match truly explodes into life. Like, he wants, they're trying to, and they should be doing it, considering what is at stake and what the sentiment surrounding the title reign is at All in Texas. They should be having Jon Moxley, oh God, he's won again. Oh, I was just getting into the match. He should be the spoiler character in a way. So I don't know if you continue that thread, continue to portray him as being like this invincible winning machine, anti-climax and all. Oh, it's where the best wrestle. The wrestling was just about to get great, and then Moxley wins again. Or do you, I don't know how worth it is to do the following pitch, right? Because it kind of depends on not where the characters and the fiction is, or are, but it sort of relies on the hardcore fans' knowledge of how these things tend to go, right? So it doesn't necessarily make sense to have like the big, invincible, infallible, I don't know, air quotes, politically protected Jon Moxley to do a job in this match, right? But if you play with it, if you subvert the expectations and have either Mox take the pin, people are going to think he's not going to do it twice in a week.
Yeah.
Is that too clever a game? Is that too cute a game to play when there's like an earnest story to be told? That's probably better of, oh God, not Jon Moxley again. I need to buy the pay-per-view to finally see this guy get knocked off his perch. Or do you play a more cute game, have Moxley directly involved in a losing finish, even taking the fall with the idea being, oh, that's not good news. Oh, I'm very anxious. And that would in turn inform the feel-good pop of the main event if, in fact, Hangman Page wins.
I would welcome both of those because I think the problem is that's not the way AEW books these. They book John Moxley pins Katsuyori Shibata.
I was thinking Shibata.
Yeah, like that's how AEW books this.
I was thinking Claudio pinned Shibata to set up the...
Didn't he pin Swerve at Arena Mexico? Or Swerve's took pins in recent
It was
weeks.
Swerve. That was a bit of a shock from what you would have expected. I'm saying, but in terms of this go-home or the All-Star tags or the...
It's been a bit bolder. I will defend Toni for that.
I would like either of those. To the point, actually, the people in this match, who was in that 6-man last week that we disagreed on? It was the Young Bucks.
Konosuke Takeshita and the Young Bucks versus Bandido and the Paragon.
That's it, right? That's why I care about this.
That's undisputed.
Look at the wrestlers. Yes. Look at the wrestlers in this. That's why I care more about this and know I'm going to enjoy it more. Like all these overlaps and even the fact that you can fantasy book a finish and it matters. Like there was no chance of the finish mattering last week or like caring about the baby faces. I know like you're excited about the Bandido Takeshita match and I get that too. Yeah. But there was no possible investment in that babyface team versus here where even just as the all-star tag they always do, there's potential to have like a really intriguing finish or one last step on the road actually mattering.
To have a Swerve Hangman go back to back. So Swerve,
he comes out for the post match.
Post match. He's coming out to help Ospreay as the Young Bucks beat him down after the finish. So he's punishing one of the Bucks. He stands up. He starts to celebrate. Unbeknownst to him, Hangman has been dealing with Shafir again, for example, or whoever, or Claudio. And then they're both staring in opposite directions, come back to back, turn around, punches. There's loads to be done here.
Moxley moves out the way and Hangman buckshots Swerve.
Oh,
Scarpers off into the crowd. And that's the last shot.
Loads that can play with here. I'm really looking forward to it. Should be class. Should be dramatic. Should be hot.
Yeah, I was just thinking in regards to not having Wheeler Yuta pin Samoa Joe, beat Samoa Joe. Yeah, you could have it here where Claudio beats Shibata, for example, for the finish. But I like that. I'm really intrigued by that Mox involvement in the finish now. Just circle back to Skibbity.
Please. Skibbity, he wasn't even paying attention. He's just been looking at Skibbity stuff for about 2 minutes.
I was looking at the words and slang voted word and slang of the year 2024.
It's already kind of out of date if it was word and slang of the year 2024.
Yeah.
Sigma and Skibbity were second and third in 2024. Skibbity can mean cool, bad, or weird, depending on what it's paired with. So Skibbity toilet's bad. Skibbity Ohio, weird or eccentric. No idea why. Do you want to take a punt at the number one slang of the year of 2024?
Him?
No.
Aura?
No.
Absolute crap that my kids come out with.
That's
where I got Skibbity from.
Was this 2024?
Yeah.
Minecraft movie was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, because that chicken stuff.
I went to a kid's party. My daughter was attending. Just to get across that. And there was like inflatable slides and a bouncy castle and a disco, and they played Lava Chicken 4 times in a row.
Wait, sent the kids.
Is that a song or something?
Lava. Jack Black doing his phoned in.
Yeah, really phoned in.
Yeah, like phoned in sort of.
It's what I do now. Skibba-ba-boo-bow.
I can't stop singing in a voice like this. I'll be doing it for 2 decades. Where's the charm I'm gonna wear of?
The D in Tenacious D stands for dead man because he's just playing the same hits over and over again.
Think Father Christmas.
Banter. Like Santa.
Oh, no.
Nick.
No.
Saint.
No. Think Father Christmas or Santa. Santa is probably the word you'd be a bit easier clue. What does Santa have?
Big sack.
Presents.
What does he carry that on?
Sleigh.
Yeah. Sleigh.
That feels like it's been kicking out a while, doesn't it? To 24.
Basically, if we've heard it, it must be out of date.
Yeah.
The word of the year, kindness. So
why? Have you been on the For You tab recently? Seriously, have you? Grok called himself Mecha Hitler yesterday.
It's chased me off.
What is going on? That's horrendous. How's kindness even a concept, let alone the word of the year?
That's what's like chased me off Twitter briefly. Was like, I couldn't even stop myself going for you. And
It's
then
getting
like,
worse, man.
oh wow, I'm really, really sad or angry. Off it goes. And then it would be really funny, and that's where the hit comes from. But that's why I had to just like, off for a bit, just a little bit for yous.
Yeah, it's mostly absolutely horrendous.
Liberty X, just a little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty good because we were just talking about X. Yeah, that's quite droll.
What else is on the Dynamite show?
Let's talk this face-off, the final face-off between Timeless Toni Storm and, where are my manners, Mercedes.
Money.
We've alluded to this on quite a few episodes of Dynamite reviews, Collision reviews, and what have you. They don't need to do anything else, do they? But there's something still to do.
Yeah, they got like home run, touchdown, screamer, 6, 3-pointer. They did all of it in that first face-to-face.
Yeah.
Like an unbelievable. This is why the match is happening. This is why the match is so significant. This is why the match is so hard to predict. They made this match feel like quite literally everything at the first time of asking. Beyond that, Tony's cut another really cool emotive promo on Collision. We've had a nice visual with the suplex and the belts flying everywhere. A nice symbolic visual of, it could all go wrong for Mercedes Money. She could literally lose everything. I know that all titles on the line, but like they have told this great story, which you can only tell over the years, not through one pay-per-view build, if that makes sense, because there's been a little bit of like, let the games begin, and I'll chin you and you chin me, and I'll beat you up and you'll beat me up, and it's a little bit boilerplate. But the real gift of this story is the absolute commitment to presenting Mercedes Money as this living demigod who was chosen, the greatest North American female wrestler of all time, who was chosen to spend her prime in AEW and has been protected in the booking and is unbeaten. And in parallel, you have got the most entertaining women's wrestler in North American women's history. Like one of the biggest stars, the most entertaining, the person who's broke barriers in terms of how funny you can be, how coarse you can be, how much agency you can have over your own character, like truly groundbreaking fair. The mere fact that those two have been booked individually so brilliantly, I don't think you could possibly come up with like a blood feud, twist and turning soapy story as well as that commitment. So
it's almost Austin Rock 17 in that regard, isn't it?
It is.
There's no story to tell with them at this. They're the biggest.
Like,
They've got to fight each other. They're the biggest.
Stakes, bam, not a factor.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't hope to just throw them into a plot that's as powerful as the actual match graphic for once. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what they say, really. I expect another great back and forth. If they're clever, they'll have come up with a great line for the first one and thought, nah, save that. So I'm expecting something akin to the first thing they said. But what a story. And I'll say this as well, now that I'm standing up for AEW a little bit. I still want to see what the full gear card looks like before I declare that we're back, I really do.
That November. That's a way off. Yeah.
Indeed. I just... Because it's one of those where this is a broader point and it's a tangent. Like, it's all well and good premising All in Texas on the idea of, all right, okay, well, after this, the baddies have gone. Let the good times roll after this. You have to book the good times. You have to carefully map out the good times. You have to keep the good times coming. It's not just this, the baddie lost, so it's going to be great from now on. You have to have a plan. So I need to see what the plan is, and then I'll declare it's back. But I am standing up for AEW still, because for a company, and yes, there's been all sorts of things that you can say that betray the following point. The existence of Luchasaurus as a character. The fact that they play the entrance music for virtually every single run-in. It is very much a produced, kind of wacky wrestling promotion with dumb stunts and crap props and contrived interruptions and a lot of US TV trappings that I just can't stand. Fundamentally, AEW does, I think, tell sports-oriented stories, or they do at their very best. I think what they've done with Mercedes Money, and again, it kind of makes what she's going to say tonight almost incidental to what the main great thing about this is that she's undefeated. She's playing an obnoxious heel who always finds a way to win, to the point where people are calling her Mercedes Hogan. And I know everyone gets this, but I think she, more than anyone else, has developed this reputation as creative control Mercedes, can never lose Mercedes, this invincible politician who just cannot ever show ass, or blah, 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 blah. It's a very sports-oriented story that Mercedes Money is basically, I'll just pick your franchise, your dynasty, the Manchester United team of the 1990s, or like did people like the Chicago Bulls at the time, or did they hate them?
I sense they loved them, but dynasties become hated by the virtue of
like who was the baseball one? Was it the Yankees that people hated?
Yeah.
Just whatever, like a hated sporting franchise who just wins and is smug and detestable.
Patriots.
About it. Is that them?
Patriots are big in American football.
Right, okay,
for that.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Develops my point, the analogy. That's what they've been doing with Mercedes Money and the sports-oriented promotion. It's like the idea that, oh, God, I love, like in the 90s as a football fan at that age, when Man U got beaten, you beat them. It was just the best. It was the absolute best. That's what they're doing with this Mercedes Money story. And even if it's not on Saturday when she loses, it's going to feel massive. So I feel like the respective character arcs are so much more important than, oh, that wasn't the best angle, or I don't know why they're messing around with steak. It doesn't really excuse the fact that this hasn't felt like a 7-star build, but it's close to a 5 for me, purely through the booking of the respective characters alone over the long term.
Yeah.
On that, though, I would argue of all the biggest matches, of all the big matches at All In, maybe it's just me, I think this is the most predictable currently. I've gone from probably...
I've got no idea, mate.
Mercedes Money. Like, I don't have any doubt about this one. Like, the 1% of doubt with Hangman Page is all you need. It's the perfect amount of doubt because he's winning. We're going to be all right.
Darby's lurking.
Oh, God, Darby is lurking, and it's always Moxley, and you just don't... And that's the perfect amount of doubt. Kenny and Okada, there's just too many fun ways either direction can take you. The gauntlets, that kind of thing.
It's also unpredictable.
The stips on the tag have made that one of the things I'm most excited about across the entire show.
Yeah.
I think this is just nailed on currently, and maybe I'll just be proven wrong and Toni Storm wins. But I guess I could do with a little bit more from Toni Storm, or the booking, should I say, of the Toni Storm character to make me feel like she's as big a dynasty. Because before you, I think, very articulately portrayed Mercedes as that, you would kind of illustrate that Toni Storm was that in a different way. It was everything she's become as this star, while simultaneously being the ace of AEW ever. So, like, I would maybe look for a bit more of that now from Toni Storm. I don't know how you get it, though, because...
I think Tony's winning.
Do you?
I don't do a pasty bet.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's a good one. It's been a while.
There you go. That's fine.
There you go.
I'm actually going to lose now. I always lose pasty bets. I got one off Murray.
Not to me.
I like it. I got one off Murray CM Punk working WrestleMania, actually. But, yeah, I just can't... The card feels like it needs... this Mercedes Money win.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the other big babyface triumphs, I don't know that a Toni Storm win fits, nor does it feel like the night to give up Mercedes' undefeated streak.
Toni will eventually beat Mercedes at one point. She will win a match, all going well, no backstage disputes or whatever. She will at some point beat Mercedes. I think it's happening.
Or you could give Mercedes the services of Luther in the build to this. Maybe they should have done that.
No.
For the
Take Luther out, but I'm not a factor.
I was regretting that. I was like, I shouldn't have said Stakes. I should have said Luther the whole time. Before we get to the one ladies match on tonight's show,
You promote it from the 1960s. The ladies wrestling.
It is. We have to talk about the talky-talk between MJF and Mark Briscoe. This is going to be fun.
Oh, well, it's not.
That's going to be close to the bone,
That's the point. It's going to be... Right, there's an elephant in the room, and that is... Hello, Daisy.
It's over there.
Oh, no, it's
Nelly,
sorry.
Hello, Daisy, as well, sorry.
They're both there. They're always there.
They're always there.
Don't always contribute. Daisy the elephant packed a trunk.
Indeed.
Said goodbye to her others.
If you want to listen to NXT stuff, I guess you can do that.
All good stuff.
Another performance on the NXT review later, so check that out.
Indeed. there is a there's a thing that everyone expects one wrestler to say here.
Yeah.
MJF is the unconscionable professional wrestler who is given himself, what a character, carte blanche to say everything possible about the rival that he's currently programmed with. Jay Briscoe died tragically. Has enough time passed? Would this ever be okay? Would I, as a 39-year-old, watching a fictional, like informed by reality, yes, fictional story played out between two grown men who have agreed to this, get offended? I don't know. It's very thorny, very dicey. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? But people are going to expect it. I feel like we said this on the review last week. The idea that it's called a talky-talk feels a little bit too wholesome, irreverent, Mark Briscoe fair. I feel like that's going to be pretty horrifically subverted. And you'll remember the talky-talk as this, not this sort of like whimsical, fun insult war back and forth. Like, it's going to get dark and it's going to get serious. They have ventured into this terrain once, and I thought, of all people, he gets the pelters, but I try and be consistent. Chris Jericho did a great job. He invoked the name of Jay Briscoe, not to be like really nasty and pointlessly so about it, just to say you're not as good as he was, Mark. That's a way to bring up the name, put him over at the same time, but the mere utterance of the name is enough to get that gasp, okay? I don't feel like they necessarily need to do it, to be fair. I just think the expectation is so heavy, and the risk-reward of really heating this match up might outweigh the idea of just let's not touch it, you know? If they can do it, they can handle it well enough, you just juice it up so much. I would argue that they don't need it, because what you have in MJF versus Mark Briscoe is an almost perfect contrast in characters and a dynamic for a wrestling program, of which this is surely just the start. This interaction in the Gauntlet, they could even go to All Out or even later or do a trilogy or whatever. You have got MJF, this more sophisticated, cosmopolitan New Yorker dickhead who's barely had to work a day in his life, who has no real responsibilities in his personal life, you know, versus a guy with, 7 children, who also works on a farm, who has taken possibly the longest route of any wrestler working in the majors today to get to a high-paid national TV stage. Like, it is ideal. There is so much to play with. They are both so entertaining. They could not be any more different. You don't necessarily need to do the big line about Jay Briscoe, but I kind of expect them to do it. Talky-talk's the clue.
Yeah, it's and you mentioned the Chris Jericho one, which I remember not loving at the time, but only because I thought, well, Jericho's gotten that first. Somebody was always going to get it.
Yeah,
typical of Jericho.
It's wrestling, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but AEW in particular and Tony Khan have, I think, a fabulous record with the treatment of wrestlers that have passed and how you can weave that into a storyline in a way that is ultimately satisfying. And MJF is the best of the best of the best of that.
He's so good at knowing where the line
Lee
is.
Tribute show.
Yeah.
That was an all-timer swing into this sort of terrain. And it couldn't have been better, and it couldn't have been the best person and all that sort of stuff. And this is like, it's similar but different. All desolate, it's a tragic, I suppose, but you are dealing with the realm of tragedy. And MJF, I would trust with it. And as you pointed out at the very start of your analysis there, between other wrestlers that have consented to it, we've seen versions of this where certain points have been made that wrestlers weren't aware of or family members weren't aware of. This is never in a million years going to be that. AEW has earned the trust for you as an audience member to know that, and it allows you to sort of submit to the fiction a bit more. And if you didn't know that if you didn't necessarily trust the people involved looking out for one another, you know, you got to take a bit of care with this. I can't wait for this. I wonder if like Mark Briscoe is bloodied up and it's like at the end of all of this, and it's a sort of an extension of what the Hurt Syndicate have been doing to Knight and Speedball, and Briscoe then has to go into the Gauntlet either hurt or simply, as far as MJF's concerned, not even able to make it. And you just get this like because I love this booking, like this match within a match element of the Gauntlet, where this Gauntlet feels the biggest they've done, because MJF is part of it, because there's a title shot at the end of it, because there's all these stakes, and
Mystico's involved too. He's confirmed entrant,
So
This
like
is
he's built up 2 matches within one, while saving the actual 2 matches you want to see.
Yeah.
Like, it was really, really, really elegantly put together, this. And the 3 people, if we're saying Mystico, Mark Briscoe, and MJF, don't need to be the winner. So the winner is hiding amongst the field, and they're getting a title shot off the back of it. The Darby Allin that we forecasted, the surprise, whatever, the surprise return. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, this is a match that you'd expect to exist just to put a lot of hard-working guys in a match on the big show of the year. And I think it's been built better than a lot of world title matches I've seen this year.
Finally, then, we know that MJF and Mark Briscoe are the 1 and 2 in the men's Casino Gauntlet. In the women's Casino Gauntlet, we know Chris Statlander is number 1. Who is entrant number 2, though? It is the 1 women's match on tonight's episode of Dynamite. For the number 2 spot, it is Megan Bayne versus Tay Melo, Queen Aminata, and Thekla. Who you got?
It's not quite... I mean, it's better than the Royal Rumble, quite frankly, because the Royal Rumble is the most overrated stipulation match of all time. But it doesn't have that... I don't think you can... Well,
It's not as good anymore, but you're throwing around of all time. Like, come on.
it is.
Nah, it's been poor for the past few years.
No,
Well, let's not take away the absolute
decades.
generational cooking goated of the Rumbles past. Like,
some of them were really good. Some of them were very
industry order,
effective.
Rumble at WrestleMania becomes a template for every great company to book every great big show.
Well, they didn't.
Do you want a Wrestle Kingdom?
Sorry, is it called WrestleMania or is it called Starcade?
Yeah. How the bunkhouse brawl got us to Starcade. Did that happen, or are they just making up alliterations and chucking them out there?
Anyway, I don't think it's got the same prestige yet, of course, as the Royal Rumble.
Last few years, there is no comparison. Slaughter.
It's been a slaughter. I think the Rumble has sucked ass since about, 2013, 14? So I don't know, over a decade now, mate.
Nah, he said the Rumble 2020 is one of your favourite WWE matches of probably the last decade. So
Which one?
Make your mind up, the 2021.
Oh, it's an aberration, though.
Well, it's still one of the best, which is it?
It's an aberration.
Not like the Shinsuke Rumble.
Yeah, 2018, you could pretty much praise that to the hilt as well.
Yeah, different time, more naive version of me.
But
So here's the thing. Would putting, just as a fantasy booking idea, Thekla in number 2 and having her be one of the main threads, what I'm saying by invoking the Rumble comparison before Dr. Fed got all tribal here again, is that does an Iron Woman or an Iron Man stint matter?
Iron Spider.
the Iron Spider.
Yeah. Can you use that to effectively market Thekla if she's given that spot going forward? Will it matter? I don't know. Look, I think she's definitely got something. I would put her as number 2. The idea is that she's been on Collision a few too many times. She's been put in these all-star 8-women tags quite often. It feels like she's already 2 in the mix, part of the scenery there, yada, yada, yada. I'd have her start winning. If nothing else, I think she's really fresh. I think she's got a certain distinctive appeal. Yes, the gimmick can threaten to be a little bit cringe, but she can really move in there. I'm starting to get it with Thekla, and they need to do a better job of making more big deals in that women's division. And because she hasn't got that Megan Bayne, like Megan Kane, you know, come in to do is the monster for the title match and lose. Like the monster of the week, Megan Bayne. We're kind of done with that, I think. I'd like to see her get more chances, but that initial, bloody hell, look at her kind of gown. Aminata is amazing, but she's been stigmatized as someone who does jobs. Thekla has still got that. Basically, I want someone to be pushed heavily who the next time they're in a title match, I'll buy half a chance that they could win. And because Tekla's that person, I want to see her keep winning, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I like Melo. I just like her. So like, I wouldn't mind her winning just for that.
Her comeback's been really good.
Yeah.
I think the history that Megan Bayne's got with Statlander, I mean, she's nailed on to win this, by the way.
Yeah, possibly.
And also she can do her entrance this time properly.
Yes.
Like she did the other casino.
Then again,
gauntlet.
what if like she just does it and it's like, oh, number 3 is going to come in quickly.
Well, this is the thing, right? We've talked about this.
Bypass her on the ramp.
Yeah.
Talked about this with the men's one. They do these position number 1, position number 2 matches, and yet because of the weird nature of the gauntlet, it's not necessarily the advantage that you're fighting for, is it?
Yeah.
Like number 2, if it was a rumble, is oh god, I'm stuck with the number 2 spot. In here, it's there's only 2 of us, one of us could win. But then as soon as the third person comes out, your advantage has been negated. Well done on winning that match. Like now there's an extra person.
Yeah,
now,
I mean,
now you're just the more tired of the bunch.
I don't think they're going to do it with
It's like,
either of these, but it would be fun one year to do that.
Yeah, I know. But we were talking about this on the Q&A, wasn't it? Which you can still listen to wherever you get your podcasts from. There's no problem whatsoever with the construct of the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royale, which is the second absolute blow-away great gimmick match creation from Tony Khan after Anarchy in the Arena. The fact that he's come up with 2 is like really, truly impressive.
Probably like second and third ever in recent years.
No, 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
Until I've never been bad, so.
Yeah. Shut up. I'm off my track now, bro.
we were talking about how the advantage matches.
Yeah.
Is the bit that doesn't make sense.
All they do is serve to remind you that it doesn't matter what number you've got. And yeah, it just, if there's one flaw, it's the fact that there's a never-ending amount of people going into it in theory. These matches just actively detract from a great attraction, so I just don't know why they exist. Action should be strong. Aminata and Thekla are both here, aren't they? Always amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not bored of it yet.
I wouldn't be mad if the Thekla won it, by the way, because for the reason you said, I think absolutely right. More exposure for her.
It's like the men's, though, where this basically confirms they're all going in. So if nothing else for Aminata and Thekla, for example, this is a big spot.
Aminata deserves a big spot. She's been quietly very impressive, or quite loudly in terms of how stiff her stuff looks.
Tony said something about someone getting injured and Aminata stepping up, so he's impressed.
It was Hater, yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
What's Athena doing? It's Thunder Rosa at the Ring of Honor show, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but I expect
put her in this as well?
They'll both be in here. They've got the Texas roots and everything like that.
Because we've on previous Collision podcast talked a lot about Athena and how the role she could play surrounding Mercedes and Tony too.
That blooms off that role, sadly.
But as I mentioned, that is the only women's match on this show, which means we have to get to the name of the game. But before that, it's the aim of the game.
The aim of the game is to identify. Please start booking 2 at a minimum. Back and forthers. Can't do this anymore. The aim of the game is to identify to the hour, minute, and second the first time you hear the first note for the first entrance theme for the first woman to come out and compete for the only women's match on Dynamite. The idea being that, well, it's often, more often than not, in that 1 hour 20, 1 hour 25 minute range. And we're noticing a pattern. And if we can just get it to the hour, minute, and second, it will really put in bold, underline, and italicize this very cynical idea that I've developed, and I think we all agree with here, that, hang on, are they putting it more often than not always, but more often than not, in that 1 hour 20, 1 hour 25 minute range? The idea being that AEW Come Warner think that we, as predominantly male fans, are going to watch an hour of just hot male action, great male wrestlers, and then, oh God, I have to put the bloody birds on, otherwise the walks will kick off. Yeah, but they'll think there's more to come. No. If we put them just before the main event, the sunk cost fallacy will come into play, where they'll think, oh God, women, but I've already sunk an hour into this, and the main event ain't too far away, so let's just stick with these women, even though Aminata would rather see more than Paragon. Willow Nightingale needs to be on TV more. Statlander, like, they're better than half the bloody men at this point, so this is just what they think, okay? And you're thinking, I get it, Sidge, but bloody hell, can you jinglize it? You don't half go on. Yeah, sure can. Don't worry, guys, when the women come out to play, the main event ain't too far away. That's the aim of the game. And the name of the game is... Right there. Need to get a little bit of a tune going here.
Oh, excited.
Could you do...
I like the...
He likes to book Dynamite, the great and hungry type. Nothing is new. I've seen this match before. Watching and waiting. He's booking for me, but my eyes are on the phone. So many would pay to see another big show for free. The man is intense, runs Fulham FC and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Money's no matter, but this one match stuff is way, way too far. Oh, here he comes. Watch out, girls, he'll cheer you up. Oh, here he comes. He's a man booker.
It's good.
I bloody love that song.
So Hall and Oates are goated. Hall and Goats.
Good.
Is that anything? Man booker. So.
Great. Fantastic. No notes. We were playing just for fun.
Really like that. Really like that.
We were playing just for fun last week.
Oh, yeah, I always forget that we actually have to play the game. Now, the name of the game is Ladies Need.
We were playing just for fun last week because I haven't had a day off. But
Look at his face.
He's getting on a f***ing bus with Mark Henry for like 2 months.
by the way, you want tickets for that? Dice.fm. We are
It's
doing
an elaborate plug.
Thank you. We are doing Forbidden Dow. We're playing the Indigo 2, and we are going to be there.
Commiserations.
We are going to be there for the AEW Dynamite show in Glasgow. After
Commiserations.
that, as well as following all the WWE shows around. And just announced yesterday, we are heading to Paris.
My phone thinks I'm 80 years old. We seeing the size of them text messages. Look at them. Hey. Come on.
That's massive.
Not that old.
We are heading to Paris as part of Clash in Paris for an after party for that one. Amazing after parties after all those shows. You want tickets for that? Dice.fm.
I've never been to Paris. Can you, I probably won't, but can you take a picture of the landmark I'm most interested in Paris, please?
Is it the McDonald's?
Yeah, it really is. They've got a McDonald's there where the golden arches are white because of something to do with the architecture that couldn't be changed. There's also one in Green Bay where it's green.
Oh.
I saw one in Vancouver where there
Have a
was a
look.
maple leaf in the middle of the M.
That's awesome.
These things matter to me.
What about the Eiffel Tower?
I'm not.
It's all right.
I've seen and been up bigger towers. There's a massive one in
Yes.
Vegas. So and went to one in Seattle Space Needle and one in Calgary with a see-through floor that was like legit scary. It kind of wobbles under your
I've
feet.
seen that.
I pray my dick gets as big as the Eiffel Tower. Just a bit of Kendrick Lamar, you know.
Oh, I thought you would just... Remember the Eiffel Tower restaurant in the USA? Where like all
that USA.
the kids just conveniently worked.
Yeah.
At school in Paris, where'd you work? Eiffel Tower Cafe, probably.
I've been to Paris twice. I've seen the Eiffel Tower twice. I'm like, yeah, don't know. More fan of nature than these big wonders.
I like the Arc de Triomphe. Like that.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's fun.
It's like a smaller version of it in New York. That I've been
Yeah,
to.
I've seen it all. I've seen everything.
Seen it
It's,
already.
it's like going to Vegas to see New York. New York is a Statue of Liberty. Tick. Venice.
So who won last week?
Well, it was just for fun last week. But by the way, thanks to Adam Blair, the Panda Blair, at Adam Wilton 4, and Jose Palomares at the Whole 11 guys who always take care of the
Data.
Thank you for these sorts of things. The standings currently are myself and Hamflett on 5 for the year, Sidge on 4, but I believe Hamflett was the last one to get a point. So we'll start with you, Michael Hamflett.
Well, Tony Storm and Mercedes Mone get the first hour slots, but these ladies do not. So I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 here.
You're drawing. You don't need to use these ploys anymore. You can think for yourself.
I don't care, but I do like.
But you've never had a Ladies' Night trophy, have you?
No,
Me and Sidge.
But I do
and I'm
like-
stacking up on our desks, huh?
Yeah.
it has.
Can't even move.
I have noticed.
We'll get our own moving truck for the office.
I've noticed that there is a light that goes out in your eyes when you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It kills
plan.
me, yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Funny.
that's what I get from
I
this.
appreciate
Yeah,
that,
that's what I
yeah.
get from this.
Yes, the women's match last week was in the first hour.
Yeah.
So I believe, it's going to be in the second hour, and my strategy will not change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sidge could top us both here. couldn't
Oh
he?
my God.
I could landlock you.
He could sandwich either of us.
I could landlock you.
He could landlock you, or he could go a second after me and guarantee that last
Yeah.
40 minutes or so is like.
What you going to do?
Why is that so funny?
That felt good.
Oh, I love that, mate.
Start that
right.
sentence. I knew that was going to end on a high.
Oh, can I just tell? I hate that Sum 41 tune. The Dynamite theme tune, mate.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. I thought I didn't know where you were going there.
I just said it's crap. Just bring back the boom, where's go with
Probably should bring back that, shouldn't they? Yeah.
some fat car gonna flash your fly.
It's the best.
Or I'm so excited. Because aren't we all so excited about all
I
Elite
said at the
Wrestling?
time about I'm so excited that if you just did that in like, I don't know, the second week of August 2021, you're like, this is the best ever.
Yeah.
You have to be excited to. That's such a big swing. No, I hate the Sum 41 tune. But I'm trying to get in my headspace.
Oh, yeah.
Of how we're looking here. I think we start off with some kind of promo segment. I think the All-Star 8-man is going to main event because then you get the big coming together of all the big key matches. Maybe get Kenny to do a promo. Either way, I think the Tony Mercedes last thing. No, MJF's a top of the hour specialist. I'm going to go for 0 hours, 41 minutes, and 11 seconds.
Big swing.
Like that. Let us know your thoughts ahead of Dynamite tonight in the comment section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch so you can follow all four of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
Follow our brilliant producer Adam Nicholas at
It's Adam Nicholas.
and you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. As I said, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcasts. We'll be back tomorrow to review AEW Dynamite, the NXT review.
Well, we will.
The NXT review is coming your way later on today, but for now, this has been the Dynamite Preview. My thanks to Hamflett and Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.